Hello families, thank you for watching our recording on preparing for Discovery's orientation. I'm Sharon Bond, the Director of Parent and Family Engagement, and I'm here with Lorianne Varela, Interim Executive Director of Access and Transitions, and Kelly Bittner, Assistant Director of Discovery's orientation. We're going to go through a few need-to-know things. We're going to go over the schedules, and we're going to talk about what to do when you arrive and where you need to be. So I'm going to start off with Lorianne Varela.
Hi there, my name is Lorianne Varela, and I have the pleasure of working with 5 different transition programs that have a pre-orientation component. And so these 5 programs are Denver Promise, Equity in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, or eSTEM, Excelling Leaders Institute, which also goes by the name ELI, First Generation Initiatives, which goes by the name 1GenU, and Volunteers in Partnership, which is known as VIP. These 5 programs bring students to campus earlier before the orientation to really help them get acclimated to campus, have an opportunity to meet faculty and staff and get additional support, and have the information that they need to feel confident and capable during orientation. And so these programs are for historically underrepresented students in higher education, and they include first generation in college. In addition, we have other pre-orientation programs that encompass international students and students with disabilities. And so for all of these programs, they may involve anywhere from a 3 to 5 day bridge program where students arrive earlier, they get settled in, and they move into their fall room in advance, and then they begin their community building and resource sharing. And so this time frame is from Friday, August 30th, from 8 a.m., and it ends by Monday, September 2nd at 11 a.m. For international students, they'll arrive a few days earlier to help deal with the time differences. If you have any questions about any of these programs, please feel free to email me or call our office. That way I can get you connected and the information you need. Thank you.
And we'll make sure to put Lorianne's contact information on the last slide, and we'll give that all to everyone. Now I'd like to introduce Kelly Bittner of Discovery's Orientation. This is the student program.
Hi, my name is Kelly Bittner, and I am the Assistant Director of Discovery's Orientation. I'm going to touch on some reminders of things that students should be doing before they arrive on campus. I'm going to give some instructions on parking, and then I'm also going to go through the move-in and the schedule for the week. All right. So to start off, let's talk about some steps that students need to make sure that they're completing before they arrive on campus, which means as of today, they have 11 days to make sure that they have completed all of these action items to make sure that they're fully prepared for Discovery's orientation. Step 1, register for classes. There's a few folks who still have not done that, some late admits, so make sure that you do that. And if you are a first-time, first-year student, you are required to be in an FSEM seminar within your first quarter. The FSEM seminars are also designate what a student's orientation group is. And so if we have any students out there that are not in an FSEM currently, we need to make sure that they get connected to academic advising and get their schedule updated so that they are prepared for their first week. The next step is to set up your DU email account. This is the primary method of communication from the university. There have been weekly emails going out from my office since the beginning of August that have important information for students in them. But if our students haven't set up those email yet, then they've missed a lot. So make sure that you set up your DU email addresses and check your inbox and work through some of the emails that you may have already received with important information from the university. Step 3, our students need to make sure that they have completed their Discovery's online campus modules. We have 3 different sections in this online module. We've had a different one open each week since the beginning of August. These modules cover topics related to transitioning into the academic environment at DU, understanding a student's well-being and the supports that are available on campus to them, as well as some important policies and expectations like the DU Honor Code that students will be held accountable to as a member of our community. These online modules serve as a basis of information that students will need to know to be able to fully participate in a few of the sessions during Discoveries Week, so it's really important that they complete them. There's also several educational courses in there that are on topics like alcohol and other drugs and sexual assault prevention that are required for all of our incoming students. Step 4, we need to make sure that our students have submitted their one book prompt. This year's book is called The Newcomers by Helen Thorpe, and all students need to respond to the prompt to this book and submit it to either their FSIM course if they're a first-time first-year student, and if it is a transfer student, then they are submitting those prompts within the Discoveries Online Campus module. These prompts are going to be discussed during Discoveries orientation, both in the FSIM and with our transfer students, so make sure that you have submitted those before you arrive. And then perhaps the most time-sensitive requirement at this moment is to submit your DU ID photo. This is really important to do ahead of time because anyone who has a meal plan or is living on campus will need these ID cards to be able to access their meal plan swipes in the dining halls or buzz into their dorm room buildings. So make sure you can do this today if possible. Because the last thing that you're going to want to do on September 2nd when you arrive is have to head over to the ID card office and wait in a long line to get those pictures taken and those cards printed. So that's kind of the major action items that we need to make sure that both parents and students are aware that they need to make sure that they've done before they arrive. And then I've also included here some links to help you all create or finalize your packing lists. We have a great list from our housing and residential education on what items to bring and what items to leave at home. And we also have a supplemental list from our Office of Sustainability that gives some tips on items that are more sustainable that you could bring into the dorm rooms. Our Office of Sustainability will also be hosting a DU thrift store throughout the whole week of orientation, which will have items anywhere from $1 to $20, and it will be lightly used but commonly needed items within the dorm rooms. So make sure to check that out when you arrive before heading off to do another run. All right, so the next part that I wanted to give some information about is when you arrive on campus. So our move-in date is on Labor Day, September 2nd. And when you arrive, we have our 2 different times that folks are moving into the dorm. So you either are an 8 a.m. time slot or a 10 a.m. time slot. Things that you need to know about move-in. I know it seems like it's going to be a very daunting task, but don't worry, we're going to have tons and tons of volunteers around helping students and parents bring items up into the dorm rooms. But to make sure that move-in goes as smoothly as we can, the lots that are closest to the residence halls are going to be monitored and are only going to be 30-minute drop-off, like unload lots from 8 to 2 p.m. until move-in has completed. So the lots that are going to be those 30-minute unload lots are going to be Lot C and Lot 103, which is the lots that are north of Evans, and then south of Evans is Lot H1, H2, N1, and N2. And then the lots below this are lots that are going to be open for parking at any time on September 2nd and 3rd. So on September 2nd from 8 to 2, you'll go to the lots to unload, and then you'll relocate your car to one of these long-term lots. After 2 p.m., all of the lots listed on this page are going to be available and free for parking. So very quickly, I'll show a diagram of where these lots are located. As you can see, the C and 103 are really close to Centennial Halls and Centennial Towers. And then we have 2 other longer term lots that you can relocate to after move-in.
And we'll also include this map in an email for you later so that you can reference it at any time.
Yes. All right, and then for the folks that are south of Evans, the lots that are the short-term lots, again, are outlined in blue. So the N lot is really close to Nagel, Hilltop, Johnson, McFarland, and Nelson halls. And then the H1 and H2 lots are also really close to Johnson McFarland. And then we have those 2 other lots that are available for longer term parking to relocate to after you have unloaded. All right, so what can you expect on Discovery's orientation check-in day? After you're done with move-in and you're settled, or if you have a 10 a.m. slot and you would like to come check in with us first, feel free to do so. But what you can expect for check-in for students is they'll arrive between 8 and 2 p.m. in Hamilton Gym. This is located inside the Ritchie Center, which is a big building on the north end of campus with a big gold spire. It's very hard to miss. But students will come for check-in, and when they come to Discoveries, we're going to provide them a reusable tote bag that they can use to carry all of the items that we're going to give them, and to fill with any of the items they want to take from our resource fair, where they're going to be provided a lanyard and a name tag that's going to list their Discoveries orientation group name and number on it. They're going to get a DU t-shirt. They're going to get their DU ID cards. So long as they have provided a photo ID, we will have those printed and ready for them to pick up at our check-in. They're going to get a campus map that's going to outline some of the major buildings that they'll need to know throughout the week. And then they're also going to receive instructions on downloading a mobile schedule book that will tell them everywhere they need to go and list all of the locations of events throughout the week. At the same time, in that same building, a campus resource fair is going to be taking place. So students and parents can stop by the fair and get answers to questions from any of these following offices. We do this in this central location because it is Labor Day, and so a lot of our offices across campus are not usually open, but all of these offices are going to have representatives here at the resource fair just to make sure that you all can get your questions answered right there. All right, so next I will briefly go through the schedules for the week so you can kind of see the schedule at a glance. And any updates to these schedules will be available on du.edu/discoveries as well. But I'll start off with our first-time first-year schedule. So on Monday, our focus really is on getting you all settled. So from 8 to 2, again, we're having move-in, check-in, and resource fair. If you have a student that is in honors program, PLP, or LLCs, they will have some pre-orientations that are going to start at 12. But other than that, you have from 8 until 3:30 is the first student program, which is a residence hall floor meeting. So they will meet all of the students live in their hall, they'll meet their RAs, and go over some kind of housing items. And for those students who are not living on campus, we do have a commuter student welcome happening within that time frame as well. We'll then break for dinner. Dinner will be on your own. So feel free to stay on campus and access the dining halls, or if you'd like to take your student off campus, you can do that as well. And then there's a couple additional programs that afternoon. Our disability service program is having an orientation for students and families, and we also have a multicultural reception happening after that afternoon. If this is an invitation-only event, and so your student would have already received an invitation if they were coming to this event. And then we will have late night programming in the evenings. Okay, so on Tuesday, our focus on this day is a student's roles and responsibilities on campus. We will begin the day with an incoming student photo for everyone that's joining us in fall 2019. We'll then move into our new student convocation, which will be a welcome from a lot of our leadership on campus. All of parents and students will be invited to this event. And then we will have a community welcome lunch, again, for all parents and students. That afternoon, their student will go to the first year seminar, which is the first time that they will meet their professor and their orientation leader within that time. And then they'll move into some student success sessions. They're going to talk about some important policies, the honor code, kind of expectations that we have around students at the university. We'll break for dinner and then have late night programming, fun evening activities happening for students that afternoon. The next day, we will have language advising in the morning and pre-health advising in the morning for students that need it. And then official programming will start at 9:30 a.m. with first year seminar, going to an all-campus lecture where students will be able to hear different topics being discussed by professors related to the one book. And then we'll move into lunch, college receptions where students can get connected to the different colleges that they're a part of. If your student is undeclared, we will have a session for them as well. And then in the afternoon, we will have another student success session that will cover topics around a student's well-being and ways that they can seek out resources on campus. We'll move into a break for dinner and then again into some fun evening activities. On Thursday, our focus is exploring Colorado's community. And so every FSEM will go on a destination trip. They vary on where they go, but we've had a lot of folks go to different museums in downtown or take a tour of the Capitol. We've had folks go up into the mountains. It depends on the FSEM professor and where they'd like to go. A lot of the times they like to relate it to the class content, but they'll get to go explore some facet of Denver or Colorado on that day. And then when they return, there will be open houses happening on campus for any other questions that students might have or offices that they'd like to get more information from. And again, we'll break for dinner in the afternoon and then have another evening activity. The last day, we will have 3 rotations of student success sessions, 2 in the morning from 9 to 12 and another one in the afternoon from 2 to 3:30 with a break for lunch in with their professor for a final wrap up of the week. And then we'll move into our final evening activities, which includes a pep rally with Denver Athletics, learning about all the different sports teams we have on campus and ways and when their games are and getting to the coaches. There will be a ton of giveaways, just builds a lot of really fun excitement for coming into the University of Denver. And then we'll move into our involvement fair. So this is where all of our student organizations and clubs on campus will be tabling. Students will get to meet all of our returning students who will be back on campus and be able to see all the different things that they can get involved in. And we will end with a student concert. So that is kind of a brief overview of the first year schedule. All right, so next I wanted to highlight the transfer student schedule. So transfer students have the option of signing up for either a 2-day orientation or for the week-long orientation. For those that have selected the 2-day orientation, they will just be attending the events that are available on Monday and Tuesday, while those in the week-long will continue on Wednesday through Friday. The schedule is overall very similar to the first year schedule, but the major difference being since that transfer students are coming in with credit already, they're not in an FSEM seminar class. And so they have alternative programming during the times in the first year schedule when those students are with their FSEM professors. So I wanted to highlight the biggest difference here would be on Tuesday. We will have a conference-style Discover Your Resources session that will allow students to attend 4 different presentations from Campus Partner, selecting the sessions that are most relevant to them. And those list of sessions will be updated in their schedule books that they will get on Tuesday at check-in.
Great. Okay, thank you, Kelly. That was a lot of really good information.